So let's find my display cap here. Boom. Alright. Perfect timing. Yeah, so this is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. This is the PS5 version, and we're going to be commentating for my current PB speedrun of 52:20 that I achieved this morning, actually. Not even 24 hours ago. I've already posted it, so you can presumably already see the non-commentated version of this video on my channel. But I wanted to break down the strats and talk about it because I recorded this offline at the weekend. When I last streamed on Friday, I was still basically having a mare with some of the parries and getting everything to line up. But over the course of the weekend, I finally got everything down, labbed out some more boss fights. Some of my somewhat scripted boss fights for this don't even always pan out because there's some different RNG the bosses can give you, different openers. So one thing I can say off the bat is if I was to make a guide for any of the bosses, like Yvek, it would require like 3 tiers of if the boss gives you this opening, do this flowchart. You know. First of all, the first like 5 minutes here is an intro. We're going to be just running. Now you will notice as well that we are running in French for this one, just because I felt like a change. Wanted to test out the French voice actors, see how they did. It's a French game after all, so it makes sense. So I believe there's some trick between getting quick grapples, depending on where you're positioned, to get like an earlier grapple. Alright, so we're going to be mashing attack immediately to get a quick animation. And we're going to go for a parry counter. The damage is integral. It's going to be the case through a lot of the run. And we're going to start the speedrun the way any good speedrun should begin, by shooting a small child in the face. So yeah, that's always a nice exciting way. Then we're going to parry the 3 attacks and kill for a quick finish, saving us an extra turn, having to do overcharge and things like that. And we're out of there and it's 144. So even compared to my 59, I made a lot of enhancements just on the early game, refinements, cleaning it up, you know. So yeah, we're recording this commentary live on twitch.tv/Excel86J. Links in the description. Feel free to come on down and hang out if you would also like to be in one of these commentaries at some point. And you can ask some questions in the chat about the runs while we're talking about them. But for the most part, I'm going to be explaining, for your viewing benefit, whether you're watching live or watching on YouTube, what we're going to be doing and why. It's still a new game and a new run. I'm new to it. I don't know all in the ins and outs. It's not like I'm going to explain to the best of my knowledge, but there are some things which I don't know all the answers to yet. You know, things are still being discovered. We're on the forefront, making history on the runs of this game as we go. You know, between myself, Gordo's Games, soon to be Sancho, and a few other of the homies, as well as, you know, the other expedition community that are running the game on their own terms wherever they are, in the Discord or elsewhere. I've already seen people speaking about strats and exchanging different techniques. It's cool. There seems to be some good variety going on. But yeah, as I explained and as the title suggests, this is Act 1. It's glitchless. There's no out of bounds. So we are going to be completing the whole thing in 52 minutes. Which today, currently, as of the day of play and day of recording, the 12th and 13th of May 2025. This is currently a good run, but maybe in 6 months or a year's time, everyone's getting 32-minute runs. Maybe this run sucks. But for now, it's the best run I have, so... We're going to be cruising along, talking to the kids here. So, like I say, it's a 5-minute intro. We're just mainly doing the little busy work, talking to the story triggers that we need to, and then we're going to be getting the heck out of here, and we'll be starting some combat. Excuse me. That was my coaster dropping. You know when your coaster sticks to your cup and then you lift your cup up and it sticks and then drops after you get a little bit away? That was exactly what happened. Sorry if you can hear that. Bonk. Okay, we're not going to accidentally select the trial battle.
Ma petite sœur chérie est là. Elle me tuera si je ne lui dis pas au revoir. La conseillère. Alors. Ah oui. Tu devras.
So for this early part of the intro, it requires a lot of intensive dialogue mashing, as you're going to see below me on the control overlay, and I can give you a little demo of that right there. This was the volcanic red PS5 controller that this game was ran on, by the way. The same one that my circle button is very weak for because I've played a lot of Elden Ring on it. Those of you that have been watching my Elden Ring challenge runs here, which are not on YouTube or anywhere near that yet. This game has come out of nowhere, and I've started running it and already posting videos for it. Meanwhile, I've still got 4 or 5 months of content to post. So there's a lot of Elden Ring challenge runs and other speedruns to come yet as well. But if you like commentaries, guides, and speedruns, and strategies, and things like that, don't forget to subscribe or follow, depending on where you're watching from. It all helps out. Here we're going to be shooting the weak point and attacking, and then parry counter to kill. And mashing X through the reward screens, to clear them as quick as we can, just like you would in another, any other RPG. It's just like it combines 2 sets of runs here because it's a modern third-person running around action game, but it has some of the quirks of speedrunning from like Final Fantasy, where you're mashing through reward screens and things like that. So it's kind of cool. Going to be hopping off the rocks there to give us a little boost. So there are some runners that are doing hopping strats where they're running along and hopping and jumping everywhere, and I feel like that still loses momentum if not done in the right places. So I tend to stick to boots to the ground and try to get as good pathing as I can. I try to avoid a lot of the debris and bodies here because there is a lot to trip up on. So I do kind of like hop into the cutscene just to kind of get that boost in trajectory to land me into the cutscene. Here we're going to be doing, with Gus, blast a load of free aim shots, cancel, regular attack, Lune, Ice Lance. I tried to min-max that fight by using only like one shot or 2 shots, but then sometimes I would get low damage rolls with Lune. So I started to just mash all of my shots off immediately and then just do a quick attack, and then Lune will always kill. Also, for my testing, I did like a 100-meter sprint with every character, and they all seem to pass it at like 8 seconds. So I don't know if it's any... I mean, I'm sure it's that no character has an advantage in speed, but it may just look like it for placebo, because she floats and glides nice and calmly, but it looks a bit slower than Gus's manic sprinting. But when you're full sprinting and you switch characters, it maintains your speed, so I assume they're all actually the same, but that's something that could be discovered later. Now, here I'm taking this Lancer fight. This is an optional fight, but I'm going to be shooting the weak point and then attacking it, and then immolating with Lune, so that first one is immediately killed. Then we're going to counter into a weak point set of shots. I got a bad damage roll here. Oh, and I missed because of the reflex. Why? I missed a shot, so I had to switch to Lune. Lost me a second or two, but because I tried to spam shoot to do it quicker, I missed a couple of shots in its recoil. But that's okay. We're going to be getting critical burn, 25% chance, increased critical chance on burning enemies. I love how the pictos show you what they do. So, like, when you watch those Elden Ring challenge videos and they bring up what the talisman does and shows you the description, this game already has that like in mind, which is really cool. So that Lancer fight. Okay, first let me explain. When I stack fire on something like I did there with Lune, when it's burned, on its turn, it will take fire damage, like damage over time, like poison in most RPGs, right? I got the ledge hop as well. Go me. When the fire stacks on the enemy's turn, they will take fire damage and die. So that's how that Lancer just immediately like killed itself at the end. The reason I take that Lancer fight is because it drops a weapon for Gus, which is Lancer Ram. It's a guaranteed drop on your first Lancer fight of every playthrough. Like the first Lancer kill. The whole reason behind any of that is because these three enemies here, the anamorphous blob spiking attacks that they have a quick one with the arm swing and a slow one where they charge and bubble and then it spikes out. And I still, even to this day, find them a bit finicky to parry. So I routed in the Lancer battle. The reason for that is that if I did, those three floating enemies are called Velestas. If I didn't get the three Velestas hitless, I would be missing the experience to get the skills and the damage that I need for Yvek. So it was all a chain effect thing, like snowball. So I routed in the Lancer fight for myself so that I could guarantee the experience as backup contingency experience for the sake of 25 seconds or so. Fair enough. But also it gives me the Lancer Ram weapon for Gus, which puts the attack on it is something like, I think it's a difference between 34 to 52, roughly. We're going to grab burning shots here, 20% chance to burn on a free aim shot. I used to go up and round and get dead energy, but I don't kill any ads, so I don't need that. I'm going to grab the Color of Lumina. Then we're going to bunny hop up here. Sometimes my music for this stage stops working, so I'm glad that it did on my PB. We're going to do Might 6 here for both. I've cleaned up my menuing a little bit for some of these as well. I'm going to hit down right and learn Marking Shot, down left and learn Thunderfall. Now, I still make this mistake of learning Thunder moves with Lune when I used to do Thunder moves with her in the runs, whereas I don't now. She basically just does Immolate for the whole fight. Like, for the whole game, actually. She just does Immolate for the whole game. Then we equipped Gus there with the Lancer Ram weapon, Burning Shots, Critical Burn, and Dodger. That way he can get good start from Yvek here, doing spell opening. Having Dodger on enables him to perfect dodge the minions and get AP back for it. Gus having AP is really important here. So we're going to be starting with Assault. This is the strat that I've developed, where I start with Assault into Immolate. Now I have two different routes for this, where I can do a minion skip or a shield skip. But they both require a high damage crit, and I don't think it's possible without the Lancer Ram. Because without the stats and without Lancer Ram, your overcharge is going to do like 400 damage. 4 to 6. Mine does like 6 to 9. Sometimes 1,000 on a big crit. So we're going to apply a Mark Shot there. They have synergy. Applying the Mark Shot and then immolating. Immolate stacks more fire on a marked opponent. So this is a really good synergy. Then we get an 8 stack of fire, and because of the... You can see the fire logo with 8 there. Because of that, the more that stacks up, the more burn damage the boss is going to take. This is very good RNG here, depending on whether he gives you spells, one arm attack, well, like melee attacks or spells, and whether the spell is focused on Gus or not. We're then going to hit a full power overcharge and get 969 on a big crit. Unfortunately, didn't get shield skip here, but that's okay. There's another 20 plus seconds, 25 seconds or so of time save I have on this boss fight. If I get shield skip as well. If you get minion skip, you don't get the weapon for Lune, because the weapon drops from the Abest, not from the boss. So you won't get Lighterim. Here we're then going to use the bomb to finish it, basically, by getting a big burst of damage, then Mark Shot, and that's going to be it to kill. I used Mark Shot to guarantee it. I probably could have gone with a regular attack, but I didn't want to under damage. So this fight requires like an hour. I could do a whole TED talk on this one fight, because I love this ending. Because this fight can change. I'd need to like replay this fight 3 or 4 times and talk to you about it and show you different examples of how the fight can change on what opening he gives you. And like the worst RNG is he melee attacks Lune and melee attacks Lune. You want him to do spell, and it hits Gus both times, and then both characters, and you want him to do that twice, and then you can set up everything you need with assault and have enough charges with a good overcharge. You could route in maybe an AP tint with Lune and sacrifice a turn, and you could make it work. There's probably a few ways you could make this work, but so far that's kind of how I do it. I use the synergy of marking shot into immolation. We let the burn ticks carry for a lot of the damage as well that we do. So like you don't even think of it. You just route in your turn order, but you're not realizing that the burn stack is doing 2 or 3 attacks for you as well. And then you do your next round, obviously. But a lot of the damage comes from the stacking of burn all the way through this run on every boss. Luckily, nothing in Act 1 is resistant to fire. So here's an interesting part, because I was getting a bit frustrated here, because I got some terrain memery. First of all, this coral got me blocked for the first time ever, and I can't move. And I'm like, dude, get unstuck, please. And then my hop here fails, and I have to go round, and that lost me a bit of time, and that's annoying. I usually clear that, and then we're moving. So that was a little bit annoying. Little terrain memery here. But that Evec situation, my other run was a 1332, this was a 1333. Those times for Evec are not possible for me without that 900 crit. If it's a 4 or a 600 crit, that's another 25. That's like a 1350 Evec. So my Evec time in total, it's like a 2-minute 20 fight. It can either be 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes 20, 2 minutes 40, or 3 minutes 20. Like, depending on the RNG and how bad things can go, it can really take a lot of time. These dudes here, we're going to be hitting them with Immolate, marking shot and then Immolate. The reason I've come around to get this fight, you might be thinking, why are you even bothering with these guys? Well, these dudes are guarding marking shot. See there, the fire damage killed that Luster on his own. That's why I didn't target him. I knew he was toast already, so I focused the one with health. We're coming around here to get marking shots. Now, we've got marking shot or mark shot. I think it's called marking shot. But this one is called... So, Gus already has a skill called marking shot, which we've used on Evec. But that is a Pictos of marking shots, which we're going to be using later on for other characters to set up other synergies. Because the way that some people strategize this is for Gus to go before Mael, so that he can do mark shot into Mael's pierce, per se. Whereas the way I set it up, I do Gus, Lune, Mael, because I do Gus's mark shot, Lune, Immolate, and then Mael sets up her own marking shot manually with free aim into her own pierce. So Lune and Gus are a synergy, and Mael is her own synergy. Alright, we're in the mana here. A couple of my better runs, I've had sub 17, like a 1657 mana entry. But with that, if I get slower Evecs than this, then that's not possible for me, currently.
Comment m'avez-vous retrouvé?
Il y avait un message au niveau de l'arbre indigo.
Sais-tu qui l'a laissé là? Un message?
Alright, so we're going to be upgrading here. We're going to do Might for everyone. Gus is going to learn Powerful. Lune is going to learn a menu error into Electrify. And then Swift Stride and Degagement on Mael here. Then we're going to equip her with Critical Burn. And switch Lune's weapon, which we got from the Abests in the Evec fight. And give her Dodger. Gus had this on previously, right? And it was to perfect dodge the Abests, the ads, in the boss fight, so that he could get more AP, like I explained. The reason here the switch is important is to keep the turn order, because that Pictos gives extra speed, and it would make the turn order weird here. So my strat here is marking shot with Gus, immolation with Lune, and spark with Mael. And often that counter would kill, but we got bad RNG, bad damage roll. so we just had to attack to finish it off, but that's not that bad. But yeah, so I put Dodger on Lune because it helps her speed stat to maintain my turn order that I want moving forth. We're going to grab all the 3 colors of Lumina there and 3 chroma catalysts, and that's it. We're not going to pick up anything else here. We're just going to be cruising through to Goblu now. I don't know if it's because of running over the little shell lamp things. I don't know if they're like an alarm for these guys, but when I cut the corners and run over those little shells, that guy seems to be alerted and drop down earlier. I don't know if that's even a mechanic or if it's RNG, but in the little attempts that I've done, sometimes he drops down, sometimes he doesn't. Same as with the Lancer. Second ledge hop, we got both of them in this run. So this bit's just pretty much a straight sprint now to the next boss. So from here, it's like 2 or 3 boss fights in a row, really.
Celui-là est gigantesque.
Give or take a little travel time. Sorry, I have the itchiest nose. It's because I'm recording. Whenever I'm trying to record, whenever I'm speedrunning with it's because there's a timer on screen. When there's a timer on screen, I have the itchiest nose ever. It's like it knows that there's a timer. Okay, here we are in the Goblu fight. So this is another one that I have a couple of different sort of flowcharts for, and it can somewhat change on the fly depending on damage rolls with fire ticks. Because sometimes I'll try and play it out in the order that I have, and I have to change some of my turns. Like, I have to change some of my planned turns around depending on what I get given here. So like on example, on this fight, I would normally like DPS him down at the end to avoid him getting the shields, but on this one we failed it, and because of the burn ticks he actually manages to get shields at the end. But it doesn't affect us, actually. We still manage to, it doesn't sacrifice us that much time. But the strat here, as you've already seen, has been marking shot into immolate into spark. It's going to be our combo. Gus is now setting up a powerful. Often the boss has already summoned its flowers by now when I do the powerful, but it hasn't yet. So now it's going to do it. This is why it takes some adapting. You have to like learn how to do the fight, and then you have to be able to adapt to the 2 or 3 paths that the boss fight has while you're in the fight on each run. So like for the most part here, I know on this turn I want to shoot flowers into a full charged overcharge. But sometimes the flowers are already there when I do the powerful, so then Lune does the flowers. But in this case, she's going to do the second set of flowers. So with the powerful, we get big damage buffs for the overcharge and for this pierce, and it was a crit. So instead of about 15, it did 2-2, which is fantastic. More damage, more gooder, right? Failed parry on my half. Okay, I did fail a parry early on. I didn't think I did. So there, I would normally attack for AP, and then she now kills the flowers. And then does immolate. It was all going to plan, and I think the fire damage just tipped him over the scale, and ticked the fire down, so that he managed to grow many flowers and then absorb. Normally he would grow many flowers here, and we would then DPS him in the next turn. Yeah, we didn't get the turn, so normally we would DPS him down with an overcharge, immolate, and pierce, and he would die. But in this case, He's going to do that and jump up, so we lose the absorb animation time. And we have to destroy one shield and don't get the damage, unfortunately, that counter would have done. That counter would have near enough killed, probably. But we get the overcharge for 800. That's still good, even though he has no charge. I think he still had the final tail end of his powerful buff. And then we can do a few free aim stabs into Pierce for the kill. GG's. Still saved 22 seconds on that fight. That wasn't just on that fight, though. I saved time on the marking, because of the way my splits are, they're just on bosses, right? You have to consider I saved time on the marking shots, guys, and save time on maybe a couple of pickups or whatever, plus having a good / better boss fight than previously. Yes, he got to absorb there, but that wasn't horrible. I still got most of my flowchart off.
Étonnant de vous voir ici.
J'espère qu'on peut lui faire confiance.
Au moins, on
Right,
va
we're going to be
pouvoir
ignoring the
aller-
curator here, and we're going to be going straight to the campfire and going to sleep, and moving on. Heading to Ancient Sanctuary now.
Est-ce que Noko t'a dit autre chose sur le village, à part qu'il y a des arbres rouges partout?
Il est pas très doué pour les détails.
Alors il va falloir réfléchir comme des gestrales.
So yeah, not much to speak of here just yet, but we're going to be moving straight through. Only the other end of this screen, after this big S-bend, we're at another boss fight. So it's kind of a nice section. After you get to, like, when you get a run round, like, through to Goblu, then it's, you've kind of, like, this section here is a nice little boss rush kind of area. Between Goblu, this Saka, and then the ultimate Saka. Now, for those of you watching live on Twitch here, we've just gone over my previous run where some stuff went better and worse, and my ultimate Saka was really good in that run, and it's bad here. You see, I'm trying to shoot for the weak point, and I'll take a couple of shots and then AP tint on Lune. Because she has a fire weapon, she will flinch it on shots. So it's easier for her to get the weak points on both of these bosses. That's going to come back and bite me in a minute because I forget to rest after this fight, so I don't have that restocked for the next one, which is unfortunate for me, but hey-ho, it's all good. We remember for next time. We're going to counter here. So this guy is mainly just, we're going to be marking shots, and then we're going to be immolating, and swift stride, presumably, with my L here. Yup.
Gustave, esquive.
It's going to slam the shield. Now, in my previous run, I didn't get the parry to the kill there, but here we do. So here, he's already dead. He doesn't get to raise the shield, so we get to skip a little animation. The bosses that you do here with no damage as well also net you more experience, right? So that can come in handy. I've kind of got it routed where that doesn't come into play, for the most part. And for that fight, we actually get... So earlier on at the start, we went over about how we gave Gus the Lancer Ram to get that extra from 34 to 52 damage. I'm going to do the same thing here because that boss just dropped a... I think it's called Saka Ram, which is like 111 damage, which is quite a nice jump for him. For the sake of a little 2-second menu, he gets a nice little boost in damage. So I take the opportunity from yesterday only, when I was recording these attempts, that's when I started routing that in. It was, you know, when you, because again, these runs are still new and we're all still discovering things. So I was just like thinking on the fly, like, oh, hang on a minute, why don't I just start using this weapon like I do? It's a freebie, you know, 123 damage. There you go, it's even more. Then here we're going to give my L marking shots. We don't want to give that to her before now, because it will change the turn order, you know, like I explained earlier. I wanted it set in the correct turn orders. But now I want her to go first. Then the strat here usually would be, my L would do spark, so that the boss is already on fire. Then Gus would do a couple of shots to try for the weak point, and he would AP tint on Lune for her to finish the job. But what I forgot to do was rest at the flag there. I was trying to save animation times because I was like, well, I didn't get hit, so I won't need to rest. I hadn't considered the consumables need to recharge, because these are the only 2 consumables in the run that I ever use, and I used to only use one here. I didn't use one on the previous fight, but now I've routed one in on the previous fight. So I was like, oh crap, so I kind of panicked here, and I thought, okay, in this case, I need to back this up. Lune is still gonna go for these weak shots while Gus saves some AP. But I was unfortunate because I would want her to get the immolate off. Luckily, I've already got the spark off with my L because of my turn order. So I actually still am getting 300 damage. So I'm not really missing out, but I am because my strat would have been quicker. And my strat is the Gordo tint strat, which he helped me develop live on my stream when we were working it out. About like adding the AP tint in the first place on Lune and then going for this idea of being able to target the weak point. Otherwise, the main aim of the game is going to be repeating what you already know: mark shot, immolate, spark with my L into swift stride to change into virtuose stance. And then what I did here to back this up is with Gus, I casted a powerful on this run. That's how I adapted this, because I didn't have the intro I wanted. I thought, right, how can I back this up? So that's what we've done, is I've used a powerful, which enabled me to then set up my L to do what you saw, marking shots on free aim into pierce. Then here we're going to get off the overcharge into more fires, and it's dead. So it wasn't the best. It definitely can be refined a bit more, and I would have felt more comfortable if my planned strategy had gone more to plan. But that's my own fault for not resting. I won't make that mistake again. Then on the next run, I'll save another like 15-20 seconds here because I had to waste my first round. Essentially, my first Lune and Gus were scuffed there because Lune at least got the weak point. It's just it wasn't horrible. Like, I didn't lose bare time for it, but it wasn't as good as it could have been or as it should have been. You know, it was just unfortunate. So we're going to rest there, not mess this up this time. We're going to level up Gus. This was a mistake. I'm just doing it out of habit. We're not going to be using Gus anymore for the rest of the game. That was the last fight. We're going to be grabbing Rain of Fire with Mael. The most important menu here is mainly Mael and Rain of Fire. Lune doesn't even need to be menued here until later. But I'm already there, so I tend to just do it. I try to put all my menus together where I can. Like, if I'm going to be doing a menu here anyway, I may as well do like some stuff here. So it's kind of, as long as it is short, because I have to menu again to level CL and everything later anyway. So yeah, at this point in time, until I get it fully routed out and I know exactly where I'm going to menu when, it's still a bit new, like I said, so I'm still kind of like and just, you know, making sure rather than having it defined like we would more into the game's life cycle. This is my favorite character, Lemon Soul. I love his noises. If I ever get a voice acting gig in a video game, that's what I want to be able to voice. Alright, Bertie Big Hands. We're going to get a nice 850 crit on a counter there. We're going to be doing Solo Mael. We're going to be doing Rain of Fire. That's going to hit big time, and it's going to stack big fire amounts. We're going to get counter, and then the fire's going to kill. I potentially could have even skipped my turn and fire would have killed, but sometimes I don't trust that, so I just have a contingency by just, like, attacking quick. Like, just send an attack. Ready to parry. Bop! So, more Rain of Fire. You might think, why don't you go like Fire, Swift Stride into Virtuose? They're dead before any of that's relevant. Like here. Just quick attack, and then Fire will kill on their turn. Especially with a stack of 6 like that, so we can breeze through these opponents pretty quickly. On guard. There we go. See, I skipped my turn there and it killed him because of the fire damage. Alright, and then the last one. I think I had a bad CL, but normally here you want to parry. If you get the counter and then Rain of Fire, then she will use Rush and the fire stack will kill her. I can't remember if I got a good one. Let's see. I got the counter off the bat, which is good. That also gets you the AP to do Rain of Fire off the bat. Otherwise, you don't have it. Then she burns, and she does Rush. This should kill. Oh, no, it was low damage roll. Unfortunate. And then I failed Sealed Fate. Whack. Yeah, that was unfortunate. But otherwise, normally she would die from the Rush there. When that goes really well, it's like a 15 to 20 second CL. But it doesn't matter. We're out of there. So we have the Medalum, or Medalum, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I call it Medalum. That is like the best, one of the best weapons in the game. One thing we're doing here is we're skipping the hidden arena that I used to do in my run because I thought it was necessary. I thought we were going to need the extra levels on Mael, so I kind of was doing the same as the solo Mael route, going to hidden arena, doing some grind just with her, so that at least with her weapon and with her on some levels, she's going to, like, even in a team environment, she'll still be strong enough to, like, help carry as well. But as you're going to see here, we're going to save like 5+ minutes by just not doing that and just going to the end of the game at level 11. And in any percent, they end up fighting the last boss at like level 6. So we didn't do Curator earlier, which I would normally do, but I've changed the route. So now I do it now, and instead of leveling up a Lune fire weapon for no reason, I'm now going to level up Medalum a couple of levels for that extra damage because we're lower level to balance out the lack of grind. I'm going to give Mael a load of Lumina, so that she can equip all of the Luminas that I want her to have. That was, again, like an older thing when I had the last empowering, what was it? Like the last stand and like those solo Pictos that you get from the hidden arena. When I had them plus all the burning shots, dead energy, marking shots, it was more relevant to have her learn all the Luminas. But for the amount of skills that I have now, for the amount of skills and Pictos and Luminas that we actually learn in this run, I probably don't even need her to do that. Wait, and is this... I think I'm accidentally slowing the footage down without realizing. I don't know how to get it to go back. Oh shit. That's because my frickin' my mute keys. How do I get it to not do that? Speed. Normal. Whoops. I wondered why he was like running a bit slowly on the map there, sorry. Because I have plus and minus on the number pad as my mute keys to mute so I can cough. So I just quickly did that, and then I was like, wait, why is he running slow now? I thought I'd, like, screwed the frame rate or something. Okay, sorry about that. Amateur hour over here. Just normally, I don't play VLC videos while I'm streaming, so it's not come up before.
Tu vas bien, Maël?
Je sais pas trop. J'ai encore une sensation
So yeah, like I say, we're going to be skipping the hidden arena. We're going to be skipping that level grind, and that's going to save us like 5+ minutes. And I worked out that after some testing, that Lampmaster is doable without the grind. And I still do a team setup with Lune, CL, and Mael. That's how I run this. So the ultimate Sakabatate that we fought earlier was Gus's final battle.
Ça va, Ciel?
Oui.
Because we're going to be switching him out of the party here. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be leveling 35 might and 10 agility on CL. The reason for that is that then she'll have 301 speed, and she will get to attack first against Francois. And then we're going to learn her skills, one of which, so we're going to get Phantom Blade, Sealed Fate, which is really useful. We have to get Harvest, but we want Searing Bond, it's really good. Firing Shadow. And we're going to be starting with Sealed Fate on this boss fight, because it hits 5 to 7 hits, and it will remove the 5 shields from Francois, enabling us to then do Immolation into Rain of Fire, and you can do like Mark Shot into Pierce, but the fire strats, he's weak to fire because he's an ice turtle, and the fire damage does so much, it will just drop him. An Immolate and a Spark together will just completely destroy him. Especially when you get a counter attack and CL gets a couple of 2 hits off of the end of Sealed Fate. Alright. The strongest ice attack ever. I choose to perfect dodge this so that my L doesn't die if I mess it up, and I can't do any damage with it anyway, so I can't counter with damage right now because of the shield. So I was like, no, I'll just dodge, and then I'll set up Immolation into Rain of Fire. Then look at the damage, dude. And then boom, look at the tick. He could have died there, and I could have skipped this ice attack. Just got so unlucky. But CL got this. Get fucked. There you go. He's out of there. And then we get Augmented First Strike, which gives us 50% increased damage on the first hit once per battle. Now, in the previous route, that was incredibly useful, because I would go to the arena and would level... would fight multiple battles with my L in order to learn that on top of getting the experience, and then I could equip it as Lumina on other characters, and it would help for Lampmaster because we'd all have crits on our first hit. But that's not really a concern now. Again, I used to do it. I was playing too safe to begin with because I didn't know what was doable. Once again, I failed to jump and don't get that. I don't need it, but just annoying that I keep failing the bloody X jump there because I try to jump too late. I tried a coyote jump off the end of the ledge and it never fucking works. You may have seen I did this in the manor, and I'm doing it here. Some other runners will jump about in a lot of places in the run, which I think it takes a lot of the momentum. Like I said earlier, I'm more of boots on the ground runner. I don't hop everywhere. I think having good pathing and good lines and just staying boots on the ground is equally as good. It probably is quicker to jump in some places, but I feel like it loses momentum in others. But I do hop upstairs because you can kind of go hop, 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 hop up sets of stairs. And like I did it in the manor, and I do it here, and you'll notice that it's like not stair skating, it is little stair hops, but a similar process. So we're going to grab Energizing Start here, which gives you a load of extra HP as well, so it's useful for safety. But it starts the battle with 1 extra AP, so I'm going to equip that, and it Augmented First Strike onto my L. because then she gets the crit, if nothing else. With Medallum, I forgot to explain that the weapon we got, Medallum, the beauty of that sword is that it starts in Virtuose stance, and her, I think I've done a terrible job. I didn't get to explain Mael that well because so much was going on. But Mael has obviously her different stances, and Virtuose stance is her strongest stance. So for the most part, the game plan with her is Spark into Swift Stride to get into Virtuose and then stab things. But then it sort of changes to become a lot of Rain of Fire, because Rain of Fire is so much better to synergize, and fire damage is so very good. Especially on like the first round, set up the Rain of Fire, and then the same thing, Rain of Fire, Swift Stride, because the opponent's burning. But now we're on Medallum. Oh, I accidentally went the wrong way. Now we're on Medallum. We're already in Virtuose off the bat. And then with Augmented First Strike, her first attack is going to be a major crit. So against Lampy, we can take advantage of that and go straight into a Pierce. In Virtuose, per se, or Pierce, is 2 AP rather than 5. So she can even set up things herself. If she starts with like 6 AP, 5 or 6 AP, if she gets a counter or whatever off, depending on what she's given off the bat, has 1 extra AP from energizing start as well, right? So on her first turn, Mael can do manual free aim marking shots into a Pierce for like 9,000 damage. I think I get like 7 or something against Lampy on this one, but so 44 minutes and we're here. I used to be getting here at like 53 minutes after coming back from Hidden Arena. So obviously we've skipped that split and now we're cruising on, and that's where a lot of the big time save's going to be. I don't know whether I should take that roll there. I don't know whether I should take the roll, because you have to you get that animation that slows you down, or whether I should lose the time. And I don't know if it's quicker to run around a little bit and not have the loss of momentum, so you don't take the roll landing, or whether the roll landing from cutting the corner and still having a roll and then slowing down, but because you've cut off the corner might still be quicker in the long run. I don't know. It's such a small fucking little nuance that doesn't matter. Nearly turned the wrong way there, whoops. That's alright though, we're cruising. Blasting our way through the final zone here. Oh, I got stuck on a pot. I hate when that happens. So much debris and junk in these games, dude. Clear up this place, man. I'm tripping over all these lamps and pots and fucking... So I take the right path there through the farm. I don't know if it's quicker than going straight through the center, but I prefer to stay on the right to sort of avoid everyone and take not a cleaner path, but a quieter path almost. But I feel like maybe I go a little bit out of the way to go up there, but it ends near the, you know, the progress point. Oh, it's here. Sorry, this is the part I was on about. Where I was looking at you guys and looking at OBS, I thought I would just spoken over this part, but this is the part I was on about. So you can go like straight through there and past 2 enemies and up the hill, but I go to the right instead. It's kind of like I turn right and then go up instead of going up and turning right. So I don't know if it's maybe as long as it is short there, but I just found it to be preferable to stick on that right side. Just to avoid having to like zip between those enemies at the end, just in case. And like at the time, it seemed like it was sort of closer to the objective, was what I was trying to say. So, but I'm not sure. This area is, out of the whole of Act 1, this is like my least, you know, known. Like I know where to go, but I don't know what the biggest optimizations are in this area. By any means. I will be hopping up the you know, the incline. That's one thing I do support, is I'm sure hopping up steps and inclines, it saves time. And sometimes I'll hop there to get over debris, because I feel like it's going to be quicker for me to hop over things than it is to get stuck on it. Like that. And then here, I did my classic thing of get to the final checkpoint, do my, like, mental checklist. I'm like, okay, what do I need? I need to do this, I need to equip this thing. Normally, there's a menu to do here, but nobody has any stats because we've not done any grind. So I was like, okay, get Mayhem for her, and then, I guess, I mean, yeah, Pictos, Luminas. Wow, I wasted loads of time here, just not... I was thinking about it in my head, and I was like, yeah, here we go. And I was like, yeah, because I have to make sure they do Luminas. I think I was looking at my notes. I was like, make sure everything's equipped, that can be equipped. And normally there's a lot more to worry about there, like Augmented First Strike, like I explained earlier. But we haven't done any battles to level that, so we don't have that as an option. So there's less menuing to do there than I thought, because there's nothing else to really change. A couple of Lunas and that's it. And they're not super integral. Alright, final boss time. Dark Explosion, good start, counter that, thank you. 1800, that was a very lucky crit that she got off the bat. I think so far I've only been hit like once in this run on Goblu. I think Lampmaster hits me a couple of times as well. Oh no, the marking shots guy probably hit me as well. But not that bad. I've not lost too much time because of being battered and stunned. But yeah, mostly here. Immolations, Rain of Fire. CL starts with Focus Foretell, and then she's going to be hitting I can't remember which order I did my Searing Bond. And then I think it's Focus Foretell, Searing Bond, and then Phantom Blades. Yeah. 3000 with a break as well. Phantom Blade's really good. Setting up Swift Stride, more Immolate to stack fire. Fire kills it. And the good thing about that is I just got into Virtuose. That turn, like that round, clearing it in that round set me up for this stage really nicely. Then CL is just support mainly, because she gets the odd like Phantom Blade when she's got the AP. Like here, she's been graciously given loads. But if not, she can just do what she can. Same as with François, she can just attack if that's all she's got. But otherwise, I'm mainly looking for Searing Bonds and Phantom Blades. I'm farming for a mark shot if I can get it with the AP that I have. I didn't get it. Fuck it, send the Pierce anyway. It's a bit of a waste because now she's completely out, but it could have been a big crit if I'd have got it, so like a, you know, big set of damage there. So it's worth farming for. Parry that.
Voilà ta carte. Je m'en occupe.
That move used to bait me a lot. I used to already parry before the jump command. And that move silences you, so do not get hit by that. White ball of light explosion. Make sure you jump that. Because if you get silenced, you can't use any skills, and it just kind of fucks some of your fight. 6,000. What a Phantom Blade that was. Then here with the mark into Pierce. Ah, GG's. And then we skip cutscenes, but we're playing out because the official timing is on the final hit of Lampmaster. So after I found that out, I waste a bit of time here playing this section out now. Even though you can skip, so in my last run I just skipped the turns because you can. You don't need to play this. But as Gus likes to say here, and as I've now developed as a little mantra for speedrunning, he often says, for those who come after, well, my new speedrunning line, and especially in the case of paving the way, setting the early speedruns for this game, and sort of feeling like I'm on the forefront of doing the runs, my line that I like to go out with for this is, for those who run after. Get him, Gus. And there it is. That is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. New game, story, glitchless, Act 1 speedrun in 52 minutes and 20 seconds. It's probably like a 52:19 or something, to be more precise. But that will get timed when I've submitted it already, so that will get timed by them. And I often always go through and show my save file and quit to the main menu and show you the save file there as well, so you can see the IGT. This was all ran and thought of before the boards were open, so I was just sort of mostly guessing on what I would need to show. So there we go. There it is. But yeah, so that's it. Don't forget to leave any comments or anything if you have any questions. Thank you for watching.